It's the fall of 2015. We're here in front of the Rogers Center in the heat of Blue Jays fever.
One of the reasons the Blue Jays are doing so well this year is because of a few key acquisitions such as David Price and Troy Tulowitzki.
Following that logic, Canadian politics needs a shot in the arm to spice up the fall federal election.
So we're asking these savvy Blue Jays fans what moves Canada can make to put us into the political postseason.
How excited are you about the Jays potentially going into the postseason?
To the max. I've come all the way from Montreal to watch. It's been eating inside me, and now I feel relief. I'm here, part of it.
How excited are you that the Blue Jays could potentially make the playoffs this season?
It's been, 20 years in the making?
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're pretty excited.
I think that'd be pretty interesting. I'd actually come back to the city and watch more baseball.
Okay, and?
I can't wait.
Oh, extremely excited.
Absolutely, 100%.
It'll be the first time in my lifetime that I'll get to see it, which is nice.
So you're stoked.
I'm so excited.
But how excited are you about the 2015 federal election?
How excited are you for the Canadian federal election?
Just as excited.
You came down a notch, though, with that. You came down a notch.
Yeah, not at all.
Not at all.
Also very excited.
If Elizabeth May shows up to this game today,
You would
I
lose.
quit. I will quit. I am done.
Lower, much lower. I'd bring it down to like maybe no heart racing, 20%, 25%.
Why is that?
You know, lack of change and fear. We're in a recession. You know, I'm getting scared. That's it. I don't think anybody can change anything, so I'm scared.
Tim, you mentioned change, and I want to talk to you about change.
All right.
The Blue Jays have made some changes. Tulowitzki, David Price. If you were to make some changes in the Canadian federal election, who would you trade, and who would you trade them for? We're talking the world is your oyster, Tim.
Oh wow. Well, you know what? I'm curious to bring in Donald Trump here. So I would like to bring in Trump, and if he was down with being a conservative, let him take over the Conservative Party there, take over from Harper.
Who should we trade out?
I don't know, but put them in a blue shirt and hope for the best.
So you want them to all be conservative?
No, I meant like a blue Jay shirt. Blue Jay
don't
shirt.
want them to
blue
be
Jay
conservative.
shirt. Sorry.
So if you could get anyone from anywhere in the world to lead our country, who would it be?
Gibby.
He's doing good stuff, so maybe we should put him in charge.
I think Josh Donaldson could probably run for Prime Minister and win at this point, and I would fully support that.
My dad,
Your dad, way back in St. John, New Brunswick there. What's your dad's name?
Mark Snodgrass.
Mark. So Mark for PM.
Absolutely.
I'd trade Stephen Harper.
Okay, so we trade away Stephen Harper. Who do you bring in? Anyone in the world to lead the country?
Anybody in the world.
David Suzuki. Why do you think David Suzuki would make a great prime minister?
Because he's going to save us all.
Don Cherry.
Don Cherry? That is who you want to lead this country?
You said anyone.
You didn't say anybody.
Yes, but I was going by the fact you might have decent judgment.
I've personally, from what I've read so far and heard, I'm not a huge fan of Justin Trudeau. I feel like he's only here because of his name.
We trade away Trudeau. Who do we get back? Anyone in the world
Anybody in the world.
to lead our country?
Wow. Steve Yzerman.
Steve Yzerman. You think he can put together a great government,
Well,
just
he-
like he put together a great Tampa Bay Lightning and Canadian team?
And I've never seen a man work with such great things and do so many more great things with it. So if he could do that with, a bunch of hockey players, why couldn't he do that with, a cabinet and,
Steve Yzerman, we need your help. Get out of Tampa, come back to Canada.
hell yeah.
Josh Donaldson, John Gibbons, Steve Yzerman, all great leaders in the world of sports.
And perhaps the people we spoke to today are just a product of the environment they're in, considering we are at a Blue Jays game. However, on October 19th, everyone has their say.
For The Rebel, I'm Matt Phillips.
And I'm Jason Agnew, and remember, every vote counts.